Africa versus Senegal.
Behind the kicker. Captain. Captain. All right. Behind the kicker.
Kriel Joclin and Pina Mariti, and I guess the coach is Ranfred Dezel.
On for Senegal, Ba Fatoumata, Sira Kamara, Ndengone, Fatou Diame, Yenaba Kamara, Prudence Michel, Aurores Kanzi, Binetou Fatou, Aissel Toussaidi, Diouf Ndeye, Konde Awa, and Mendy Marie. Straight up into the kickoff.
10 meters, Red. 10 meters.
South Africa managed to pick up a line out.
Here.
Ball being thrown by Platy Fundiswa.
Welcome once again to the Confederation.
Most of the South African players have had great levels of experience playing in the
Senior
15s World Cup as well. So they're definitely a team to watch out on.
Roll away, Red. Roll. Let's fit.
And South Africa again recycling the ball to good effect there. And surely this must be a try for South Africa. And there you have it. South Africa with opening try, barely 40 seconds into the game. And that try scored by Pina Marithi. Pina Marithi with the try for South Africa. It's South Africa 5, Senegal 0. South Africa, remember, are the defending champions, and they are a powerhouse in rugby on this continent, not only on this continent, and even in the world.
One of the players to watch out for South Africa will be Jazz 11, Jacqueline Kriel. Jacqueline Kriel is an established sports person in her own right, having played for the 15th team, and is actually a former 100 meters hurdles champion in South Africa, 100 meters and 400 meter hurdles sprint champion. So just goes to show that sports can actually be replicated across the board.
Very multi-talented, and that shows you how serious this South African team is now. Senegal on the receiving the ball, fielding it well, taking it into play. What can they do? Oh, brilliant line break there from Shanzi Aurora, and it's going to be a penalty for the Senegalese. South Africans there with an infringement at the rack, and let's see what Senegal can do with this ball. Oh, but the ball has been stolen there at the turnover by Senegal, and South Africa now waiting to exploit this, and there is a yawning gap and overlap there, and South Africa on the attack again. Plate Fundiswa. And Senegal
easy go.
Lucky to get away, and I thought South Africa they were actually going to score a second try, but once again they've been penalized, and Senegal can breathe a huge sigh of relief from that.
Also want to watch out is Veronica Green in the Jersey 6. She was actually voted 2013 South Africa Women's Back Player of the Year.
Neat line break there from Senegal. They've got some line breaks, but just the support play is what is lacking. But they get another penalty. South Africans are being penalized there at the rock there, and Gelden Hayes Rachel, I think ball in the rack, handling ball in the rack there, and Senegal with another opportunity to get something going here. And the Senegalese are holding on their own. I think they are matching the South African physicality in the contact points. And South Africa leading by 5 points to nil with 3.5 minutes remaining to the end of the first half. South Africa 5, Senegal 0.
No, just
Senegal Saidi Asimetu with the line out. Let's see what they can make of this.
It's been very cautious by both teams in the opening exchanges. Senegal definitely quite gutted after losing to Madagascar 19-14 the first game. South Africa not keen to go down to the first game, so it would actually require some level of ingenuity to get this game to the next level, because everyone seems quite confident and cautious and not trying to show the weak points, trying to actually keep the ball in the tight, not really spreading the ball out wide. And unless Senegal go on through and just decide to play expansive rugby, South Africa might be keen to retain it at the same level, because they already have the 5-point lead. And perhaps that's what Senegal required, a rampaging run there by Fatoumata Ba, drawing in the South African defense. Senegal need to spread the ball. We did see this tactic against the Malagasy team in the first game. They don't actually have any qualms about taking the ball in, but the ability to spread the ball out wide can actually be tested 1 or 2 times to see what South Africa may be able to place up in as far as the defense is concerned.
Yes, Senegal more than holding on their own so far in this game. I mean, they've had a couple of chances there. I mean, and there was a very promising line break there from Diami Fatou, but it was stopped in our tracks by the South African defense, and South Africa on the attack again. And a neat break there from the try scorer, Piena Marithi, getting support from her teammates, Grain Veroshka.
Hands in the rack.
Marithi with great strides. Actually looks like she's not moving, but because of the lanky strides, it's very deceptive. She's actually quite fast.
Quite fast, yes. And Grain Veroshka, they're trying to build a stream of play for the South Africans. Jordan Zenese passing it out wide. The South Africans trying to play an expansive game here, and they will get a second try here. South Africa. Oh, she's been pushed out wide.
Vazi Vuyeluetu guilty there.
Guilty,
not executing and driving the nail home.
Some excellent defending there by Senegal.
This is actually going to be the telling point. Great defense there by
Showing
Mendy
awareness and
Marie-Therese.
resilience.
Actually pumping all the energy back into her team, and I think Vazi Vuyeluetu will not want to have a look at that again. She popped the ball out into the mid-air.
That was certainly a try for South Africa, and how he did not score. And a costly blunder there by South Africa, but they still retain possession, and they're not very far off from the Senegalese try line.
Behind the line,
The
behind
South
the line.
African line-out throw. What
That's
can
what
they
it
do
looked
with
like.
this
It was a forward ball that was popped up in the air by South Africa there.
Not straight.
I would have
Not
thought
straight.
the Senegal would have had the
Captain,
advantage,
line out to
but
score.
doesn't matter. There's a half penalty, ball not thrown in straight from the line
Line
out.
out or
Senegal
score.
get a chance to get the ball out from the territory. But great defense there by Senegal. It just goes to show that even when it looks totally sealed and done, just get an extra man in, then you never know what'll happen.
And that will be, it'll give encouraging news to the other teams competing in this competition that South Africa can be beaten. They can be held on their own
Engage and hold.
if the teams step up to the plate.
Crouch.
Because that to me looked like a certain try, but once again, until the ball is dotted down on the whitewash, it is never a try. And
Crouch.
credit to the Senegalese defense
Bind.
for
Set.
making sure that the try was not scored. But South Africa again on the attack, and once again the pass wasn't very good there.
Senegal maintaining their form on defense, literally driving the South
Now, red,
Africans
go,
back.
go,
Thwarting
red,
again,
red.
that particular move was Mendy Marie-Therese, who looks like the valiant warrior in this Senegalese team so far in this half.
Still, it's a South African ball so far, and South Africa with acres of space, and certainly that will be a try now. South Africa scoring their
Try now
second
once
try
again
at the
for
hooter
South
at
Africa,
halftime.
taking their scores to
But once again,
12,
credit to the
Senegal
Senegalese. They've
0.
defended very well. But finally, they've been
Always
reached
in
it.
the
South
conversion.
Africa 10, South Africa 12, Senegal 0.
Great experienced player there, Fundiso Plachi, who scored the try, has featured for South Africa in the 2010 and 2006 Women's Rugby World Cup, so clearly sees the gap, understands the importance of that particular try coming right before the break, because the Senegalese team looked like they were building up from strength to strength.
Yes, very, very, very important try for South Africa. But this game, I don't think is done and dusted by any stretch of the imagination. From what I think, the Senegalese team very
Halftime scores, ladies and gentlemen.
are fighting hard,
South
and
Africa
for
12,
South Africa to 2 tries, and it's 14 points
Senegal
to nil. South Africa
0.
14, Senegal nil, but Senegal 12 nil to South Africa. So South Africa leading Senegal, but Senegal still very much in this game, depending on how they'll start the second half.
Is there anything you think I must do?
Kyk vir mekaar, moenie afkyk nie. Kyk in mekaar se oë en sê ons moet nou nog 'n 7 minute beklei. Nee, van ons speel nou, ons val in hulle gat in. Dis wat ons nou doen. Ons val in hulle gat in. Checkie op vir Summers. Boruska bly op senter.
We got this, ladies, né? Ons werk hard, ons werk hard. Hulle is sterk, ons is sterker.
2 minute, dan gaan hulle afkom en gaan jy op. As jy nog gery met jou bors.
Ja, ek sou van reg.
Moenie laat sulke goed vir jou af in die fight dan keep. Dink aan hy ding op jou bos. Dink aan ons kan nie net moeg as jy jou bos toe trek nie. Die eerste game gaan moeilik wees.
Kom ons is in. Ek's in.
Na. 3, 2, 1.
Just hold.
Senegal ready to
Captain.
get us through to start the second half. Sedi SL2
Captain.
holding the ball in hand. Just moments ago you saw
All right, behind the kicker.
one of the most comical moments in this year's event. South Africa breaks on through and absolutely from nothing gives the ball back into Mendy Marie Terese's hands.
back.
Mendy Marie Terese, very, very instrumental for Senegal in the first half. Waiting to see if at all she'll be able to be the one to deliver the killer punch to the South Africans in the second half. William Juguna, my able commentator.
Second half, just after South Africa on the attack again. Then brilliant play there from Krapje Fundiswa, and offloading the ball to Pina Marithi, who scores a second try of the game. South Africa, 17.
Happy.
What a clinical attack there from the South Africans there. Straight from the kickoff, couple of phases of play, neat hands, and they get on the scoreboard again. Senegal, it was imperative for them to score the first half of the second half, but right now South Africa stretching the lead to 17-0 with the conversion coming.
Long ranging run there from Pina Marithi. Looks like she's literally eating up the ground as she places up each and every stride.
And the conversion is good, and it's 19-0 to South Africa. South Africa 19, Senegal 0 in the fifth match of the Confederation of African Rugby Tournament here in Machakos, Kenya. If you're just joining us.
We haven't seen so much of Jacqueline Krills running Jazz 11. As I mentioned earlier, she's a former South African junior athletics champion in the 100 and 400 meter hurdles. Definitely adapting onto rugby and having hit off the athletic spikes for the rugby boots and representing her country at the greatest level on the African continent.
Which was a wise decision, if you ask me. I think she's playing very well for the South Africans. And South Africa,
Red, roll
I think
away.
they're just going a talking off
That's
from
it,
their
yeah.
coach, because they seem to be playing with so much intent and fire in their bellies. They're hammering the Senegalese at the contacts and the racks.
You've got to tap it
And
properly.
Senegal
It
haven't
must
had
move
a
from
sniff
there.
of this ball
Yeah, 10 meters.
apart from the kickoff in the
10
second half.
meters.
South
Back,
Africa
back,
19, Senegal 0.
Back.
In the Confederation of African Rugby, and I see Senegal about to make a substitution. Pierre and Michel Prudence about to come in
Back.
and try and salvage some pride for the West Africans. But South Africa now on the attack. Good passing there from South Africa. And she's tackled well there. She's tackled. Gordon Nusipiwe has been tackled.
Lost in the
And
tackle.
the Senegalese have stolen the ball. But first, I think we'll have to first have a
Lost in
substitution.
the tackle.
And South Africa also bring in a substitution here. I'm seeing
Scrum.
Mokwi Nomsa coming in.
Kenyans, of course, will be looking at this game very keenly, having played only the first game against Madagascar. They still have to play Senegal and South Africa. So, certain South Africa trying to keep their cards in their pocket. There have been very, very great games between Kenya and South Africa over the last 8 or so years. In 2005 in Kampala, Kenya losing out to South Africa 19 points to 14, right at the
stay
death.
back.
I remember that game actually went to sudden death. It was a semi-final, played in Kampala Chadondo grounds. And in Dubai, just recently last year, South Africa defeated Kenya 12-19. Kenya, of course, atoning for the whitewash that they received at the hands of South Africans in Tunisia. And today will be yet another day the Kenyans get a chance to play against South Africa.
Behind the
So far,
line.
they've not actually managed to get a win. Will this be the first time they get a win against the South Africans? Only time will tell.
Yes, yeah. I mean, South Africa and Kenya meet late in the day, in the afternoon, pretty much around 3 o'clock. But it's a line out now for South Africa. And they win the ball there, and the line out was not straight. And
Captain, line out
beginning
or
to
scrum?
creep into the South African game.
Scrum or line
This
out?
is second line out, which wasn't straight
What's that?
for them.
Line
So
out.
it will be a Senegalese
Line
line out. With 3.5 minutes remaining, South Africa leading by 19 points to 0.
The lineout has actually been a problematic point for most of these teams. It only looks like Zimbabwe were the ones who were able to execute their lineout moves, but everyone else struggling.
Exactly. So the line out seems to be a problem for most of the teams. And other teams are seeming to be flawless in that area, which is a very critical area of this game these days. And Senegal playing dangerously there. They're playing in that try box And they're
Hospital
being
pass right there.
hammered by the
hospital measures.
South Africans. Yes, hospital passes. And I just think they just need to relax and just play their game because they are very much in their own half, in their own territory, in their own try box. And South Africa really ramping up the pressure. There's another line out coming here. South Africa 19, Senegal 0. Senegal, remember, lost their first game of the day to Madagascar. And it looks like they're not going to win this game either.
Senegal, of course, well known in the African
No advantage.
sporting
Just
arena
forward
for
in the line
football.
now.
And
Scrum red.
interesting, not so many
Scrum
people are
red.
aware that they actually play very decent rugby. They've got a respectable
Lost
number
forward.
of players in the French professional leagues.
Yes. And also very decent side also in basketball from what I gather. And making
Makise,
strides
ladies,
in the game of
Makise.
rugby.
Move it,
And
check.
as
Thanks.
Hilary has said, they
Crouch.
have got a couple of players who play in the
Bang.
top division in France.
Set.
And of course, great musicians, Youssou N'Dour and Akon,
Yes,
one of my favorites.
country full of talent in the artistic area. And the Senegal team here losing by 19 points to 0 with a minute and a half remaining. And we have been stuck in this Senegalese half for the better part of 2.5 minutes right
No
now.
pushing.
In the words of
before the
Akon, do
ball
you
is
think
in.
Senegal
No
will be
pushing.
able to take South
Crouch.
Africa convict? I think time has already elapsed.
Time has already
Sit.
elapsed. The best they can get is a consolation try. And the South Africans penalized for an early hit in the scrum. And Senegal now, what can they do? And they've kicked it out. I don't see why you should kick it out. They should try and get a bit of some possession and some phases of play. And South Africa won't be worried by that.
That right there shows you what's happening in the minds of the Senegalese players. They're definitely, just willing to throw the pressure away, and they're looking at winding down the clock, perhaps to try and minimize the score and see if at all they can actually get something out of the Kenya game. And
Red entering tackle from the wrong
wait
side.
for the results in the other games to go their way.
Yes, South Africa once again on the attack, and the Senegalese
Turn back,
penalized
back.
for an infringement.
Back.
And Plate Fundiswa will be looking to add more misery to the
back.
Senegalese.
Fundiswa Plati, of course, the most experienced player in the South African team, taking the bull by the horns literally. A great outstanding servant to the South African game, having appeared in 2 previous Women 15s World Cup in 2006 and 2010, and showing her mettle right here back in Machakos for this tournament.
Yeah, Senegal now looking to build something from this game, and brilliant line break there from Kamara Dieneba from
Well,
Senegal,
right.
but once again they have been turned over at the rack
Catch
area.
it, Joffa!
And South Africa on the attack again through Brown Lorinda. Brown Lorinda on the attack, but tackled by the Senegalese, and
Going over the ball.
the full-time hooter has gone. The full-time hooter has gone. And the game is over. Senegal have lost to South Africa by 19 points to 0.
South Africa 19 and Senegal
South Africa very clinical with their chances
19.
and showing why they're the best team on the continent when it comes to the women's sevens game.
Woeful strategy of having oversized shirts. Would have perhaps liked to see the players
Five games
in
time.
better fitting shirts, because I think Senegal were unlucky there just because of the shot tackle to have not scored or gotten something from this game.